Have you ever felt like a news story or some viral video was engineered to hit you with a very specific message? Almost like a targeted shot? Well, today, we're going to dive into one of the very first theories that suggested exactly that. It's a fascinating story about propaganda, pure panic, and a powerful idea called the magic bullet. So let's just kick things off with a huge question. Can the media literally control what you think and do? For a long time, a surprising number of researchers believe the answer was a simple and, let's be honest, a kind of scary yes. So how on earth did they get to that conclusion?
All right, first things first, let's really unpack this core concept. What did people even mean when they were talking about a magic bullet in media?
At its heart, the theory is incredibly simple. It basically pictures the public, that's us, as completely passive, almost helpless really. The idea is that a powerful media message gets sent out and every single person receives it in the exact same way. No filter, no resistance, nothing.
So where did such an extreme idea come from? I mean, this wasn't some theory dreamed up in a quiet university office. No, its roots are in one of the most chaotic periods of the 20th century, the age of total war and mass propaganda. So, picture this. It's the early 1900s, especially during World War I. For the first time, governments are using posters, film, and radio on a massive, unprecedented scale. And the effectiveness of this propaganda in mobilizing entire nations, it was genuinely shocking to people. It really seemed like media had this newfound, almost magical power over people. And you can really see how this idea evolved. It all started with that real-world observation during the war, seeing just how powerful propaganda was. Right after that, researchers tried to create a model for this, and they called it the hypodermic needle. And then later, that idea got sharpened into the even more powerful magic bullet metaphor, which really emphasized how precise and inescapable it all felt.
Okay, so let's zoom in on those two famous metaphors, the needle and the bullet, because honestly, they tell you everything you need to know about how this theory saw the audience.
So you've got a needle versus a bullet. Even though the images are different, the core idea is exactly the same. The needle suggests this broad injection of ideas right into the body of the public. The bullet suggests a much more precise shot aimed at each individual person. But here's the thing, both metaphors assume the exact same thing, that the audience is just a passive target, with zero defense. The message hits and the effect is instant and direct.
Now, every good theory needs its star piece of evidence, right? The smoking gun. And for the magic bullet theory, it was a terrifying radio broadcast that seemed to prove its power beyond any shadow of a doubt.
The year is 1938. Radio is king. It's the main way people get their news and entertainment, piped directly into their living rooms. And on the night before Halloween, a young Orson Welles was about to conduct a huge national experiment, completely by accident. So on Halloween Eve, Wells's radio drama The War of the Worlds goes on the air, but it's done like a series of realistic breaking news bulletins about a Martian invasion. And the result? Absolute chaos, widespread panic. People were fleeing their homes, jamming up the phone lines. They truly believed the world was ending. For supporters of the magic bullet theory, this was it. This was the ultimate proof. The radio fired its message and the public reacted instantly, uniformly, and with pure terror. Okay. So if this theory was so powerful and it had this blockbuster example, why don't we still believe in it today? Well, because researchers kept digging, and it turns out reality is just a whole lot more complicated. Look, the magic bullet theory was a really crucial first step in trying to figure out media's influence. You have to give it that. But at the end of the day, it was just too simple. It treated human beings like they were all identical atoms in some big chemical reaction, not as the complex, unique individuals we are. And all the research that came later just blew this simplistic view apart. It found that we, the audience, are incredibly active. We don't just soak up messages like sponges. We interpret them based on our own beliefs, our education, our friends. And this part is crucial. We talk to other people about what we see and hear. And that process completely changes how media affects us. We're not just isolated targets waiting to be hit. So the most important takeaway here is this. There is no direct, unfiltered line from the media to our brain. We are constantly acting as filters. We question things, we compare them to what we already know, we discuss them, and ultimately, we are the ones who decide what a message actually means to us. And yet, and this is the big question I want to leave you with, In our modern world of social media filter bubbles, viral misinformation, and algorithms that are literally designed to feed us exactly what will keep us hooked, have we accidentally built a new kind of magic bullet? Is the audience still as active and critical when the message is perfectly tailored to bypass all our defenses? That's a thought to chew on. Thanks for joining us for this explainer.